Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Abigail if you're new, and I make videos about special needs, health issues, and feeding tubes. And I've also been making videos about something that I've recently been diagnosed with, which is called, I think it's how you say it is, flagellar syncope or something like that. Um, it's basically, even though nothing is wrong with my heart, I it's basically, the best way to describe it is it's a condition where um it can make you faint. Um it's not POTS, but it um gives off very similar symptoms um to what POTS does, even though it's not. Like I said, Villagio syncope, I think is how you say it, and yeah, it's a condition that affects some young people, and um you control it with like making sure you're hydrated, um sitting down when you feel like you're gonna have a moment. There's no like medication for the condition, but there is medication to help like lower your heart rate. um so I have been dealing with that, and um it's been really difficult. I've been making myself get up and around, and it's really hard to not just want to like sit here, um because whenever I feel like I'm gonna have a bad moment, it feels like it's pretty often, but I have to like make myself get up and around and still, live my life. um so it's definitely been difficult. I think it was in my last video I talked about that I'm going to be put on a different anxiety medication and see if that helps me feel like well enough to like go places again, because I haven't really felt like going places besides like doctor's appointments, because it's really like affected the way that I like feel about going places, because I just never know if I'm like gonna go out. Thankfully, people with this condition, a lot of times when they do faint, it's usually like 1 to 2 minutes, so it's not very long. I've only went completely out one time, but I have heard that it can happen again. So whenever I feel like having a moment, I'm kind of like uneasy about it still. Um, but we're gonna try this new anxiety medication and see um if that helps me um feel any better about it. It won't like help the symptoms, but it might help me like deal with it a little better. So I've also been trying to like keep myself distracted by watching stuff. Um I've been really into like watching movies. Um just basically anything that can like distract myself, but making sure it's like a good distraction. Um Also, what was it? I think it was last night, maybe. Um, I was hooked up to my pole, so my feeding tube pump goes on my pole over here at night, and um, I think it was in the middle of the night. It got like really hot in my room, so I turned my window unit on, and I was hooked onto my pole, which can move. It does have wheels on it, but I thought it was gonna like stretch like all the way to um my air conditioner, but it didn't. So then I had to like go all the way back, unhook, turn my pump off, which beeps really loud by the way, and then go turn my air conditioner on, and then come back and hook up again and turn my pump back on, which beeps very loudly every single time. So I try to be very careful to like not unhook at night unless it's like really important, like I have to go to the bathroom or I'm hooking my pump up for the night or something, because after it gets so late I don't want to wake my family up. It was just feels like there's always something. Um, People do ask sometimes, not really on here, but like in person, if I'm able to take care of my feeding tube by myself, and the answer is yes. Um, the only thing that I really have help with is um early in the mornings my mom comes into my room to flush my tube for me, which is where you put water through the tube like every so many hours um so that it doesn't clog. My mom does that early in the morning for me. But other than that, I do everything else completely on my own. If there is something that's like my pump is acting weird or something like that, then my parents help me with it. But for the most part, I do it completely on my own. Um, but I would say probably the two most frustrating things that I have dealt with the feeding tube is um one, when the bag doesn't work right. So either like there can be sometimes when they make the feeding tube bags, they have like a lot of air in them, and even after you prime it, which is where you put the formula all the way through the tube and then um get the air out, sometimes the bags are not made that good, and um they hold air a lot, and it will like beep on me several times, and then I have to like change the bag. So that's one like kind of frustrating thing about it. Um and the second thing that I've found kind of frustrating about the feeding tube is that I'm on continuous feeds, so I'm only off of my feeding tube to like shower or change clothes, or like for short periods, like to hook up my pump for the night or something like that. But I'm on a continuous feed, so if I'm off of my feeding tube, it's like usually like a a big deal like that. Well, sometimes because I'm hooked up at night and I move a lot in my sleep, sometimes I will accidentally lay on the cord, and then in the middle of the night I hear like this loud beeping sound, and then I like turn around in my sleep and like have to hit the button to like turn off the beeping and like hope it doesn't wake up the whole house. So anyways, those are some backfire stories for you. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure that y'all subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all next time. Bye everyone.